What's up guys, Coach Corey Stockton here at Paragon Jiu-Jitsu Austin with Coach Laura. Today we're gonna look at a sweep that we taught last week from single leg X. I had a really interesting question from one of my students asking something about the sweep. So I wanna address that question. I wanna take a look at that sweep first, and then we're gonna go back and talk about the question that my student asked and try and address it. So I'll use my butterfly guard to elevate my partner to her hands, bringing her nose over my shoulder. Once she's on her hands, I use my knee to scoop her knee, and I put my foot right here on her ribs. Now, there are reasons where we can switch to X guard here, but I like to stay in this position. We're gonna talk about why. But I'll take my hand underneath my partner's leg. I can either swim it under, or what I prefer to do is like a kettlebell clean, shove my elbow underneath her ankle and rack it, and then I transfer it to my shoulder. From here, I'm gonna focus on keeping Coach Laura on her hands here. I give her a little push, and then I pull my knees to my chest to put her in like this zero gravity position. Now that she's pulled in, I'm gonna blast both my legs away and pull down on the collar to roll myself up to my feet. And from here, should be pretty easy to sweep a leg and take her down. Now that we've seen the sweep, here was the question. Once I pull Coach Laura to her hands, and I put myself in single leg X, I scoop up the leg. It can be really hard, it can feel really hard if we're missing a couple of details to get up to my feet. So my student was struggling he pushed, he pulled, and then when he came here, it's tricky to get my legs under me. So in this situation, why don't I just drop my leg, put my foot across, and then start to get my elbow up, build up to my hand, and do this technical stand-up that we all learned in our first class. There's nothing wrong with doing that. That's a really good fundamental technique that we do every day in warm-ups when we do our technical stand-ups. Here's why I prefer to blast my partner away, and why if you watch some of the best in the world, they all generally blast their partner away from this position as well. It's something you see Lucas Lepre doing a lot, something you see Cole Abate doing a lot, Kainan Duarte, Andy Murasaki. This is maybe the more common sweep from single leg X, and I think this is why. When we get our partner to her hands, and I start to sweep up a single leg X, my hand is on her collar right now. With my hand on her collar, I can keep her weight on her hands. That does two things for me. A, it makes her legs light, and B, it means she can't defend, right? So if I move my grip on the collar, Coach Laura can posture up, she can control my arms, she can peel my legs, she can pass my guard. And that's the case whether I'm sitting or standing. If I go to stand and I remove my hand first, now she's looking to posture up, get her hips under, and I lose the leg. If I can keep her on her hands here, I can come up and sweep way easier because I don't have to fight her hands, and her legs are light. So here's how we address the problem of not being able to get up. When I technical stand up, what's happening is my hand is helping me to lift my hips. If I keep my hand on the collar, I don't have my hands anymore. I'm gonna borrow Coach Laura's. So as we pull in and push away, I focus on putting all my body weight through the collar grip, trying to bring her nose to the mat. She wants to keep her face off the mat. It's not gonna feel good if she face plants. So she's gonna be putting strength in her arms to keep her head up. And I'm gonna borrow that from her. As I pull, I push, all my force is going down. I'm borrowing her arms to get my legs and my hips up. And then we sweep. Now the second trick to this, and let's go back to that technical stand-up for a second. When I have this traditional single leg X, as I build up to my elbow and my hand, the first thing we do generally is put our leg on our partner's bottom leg. What this is gonna help me to do is A, control distance, but B, get my hips behind my head. When my hips are behind my head, it's very easy to stand up. When my hips are in front of my head, I struggle to stand up here. So we're gonna do the same thing when we kind of spiral up from the single leg X. I pull her to her hands. I'm gonna borrow her hands. As I push, pull, I get my legs behind my head, and I'm putting all my body weight in her collar. That makes it easy for me to walk myself up and sweep my partner. So it's a really interesting sweep there from single leg X, and one that we see a lot of the best in the world use. Lucas Lepre, I did a seminar with Lucas Lepre once, and he said he likes to change his hand position as little as possible. And I think that's a really valuable way to think about this sweep. My hand, when I have it on the collar, is stopping Coach Laura from doing something I don't want her to do. So I don't want to move my hands and remove that factor. So something that we see Cole Abate doing, Kainan Duarte doing, Andy Murasaki is phenomenal with it. There's a brown belt from Atos, they call him Samurai. He's the person that I watched doing the sweep and really changed the way I think about this sweep. So give it a try. Try and borrow your partner's hands when you come up with single leg X. And let us know in the comments if there's any other techniques, problems you want us to address. Thanks for watching.